We've gathered 3 potato chip experts to blind taste test every bag of potato chips we could get our hands on to see which ones meet their standards. Lay's Classic.
I smelt that like classic potato chip smell the second this came out.
You get the aroma of canola oil for sure.
These chips look like they're quite porous.
Color's good, kind of pale.
So for me, the perfect potato chip has to be crispy. Super thin, has a nice crunch to it.
Not overly hard and difficult to chew, but not so brittle and flaky that it turns into like potato powder before you eat it.
You always want to make sure with your chip that you're looking for a great potato flavor.
I want that natural, earthy, like right from the ground potato to come through.
You want to make sure that you have a balanced flavor.
As a chef, salt is one of the most important ingredients that we have in our pantry. Just the perfect amount of salt really highlights and enhances that potato flavor.
You're frying potato chips, so there is a grease factor, obviously, but you don't want them overly greasy. I don't want to feel like I'm going to ruin a good shirt if I get it on me.
We want to be able to thoroughly enjoy them with clean fingers. Okay. Chip is not bad.
This feels like a very standard potato chip, something I would expect to get all the time.
Right off the back, you get the crispiness.
Pretty thin, begins to almost melt and evaporate in the mouth.
Very potato-y.
The salt flavor and balance is there. It's not overly salty.
Not too much grease. I don't need to use my jacquemus to dab off this oil.
Could be a Lay's potato chip.
I think these are Lay's.
Lay's.
I was right.
America's classic.
You can't really mess this one up.
The industry giant when it comes to potato chips.
So if you see like these little tiny bubbles, that's how I know that this was fried at a very high temperature for a short period of time.
If you have too thick of a chip, it will absorb a lot of oil and become soggy. If you have too thin of a chip, it will curl up and fold upon itself and you won't have a nice flat chip like this.
When making chips, you have a slew of potatoes that you can choose from.
Most commercially produced potato chips are going to be using the standard potato, which is the russet potato.
Why? Because easier to grow, disease resistant.
High starch, low sugar.
You want the starch because that's going to get nice and that. It's that crisp factor you're looking for. But sugar, you want it there for flavoring and a little bit of coloration. So the russet is kind of that perfect golden child for potato.
It's pretty much bred to be a potato chip.
Lay's is that golden standard of chip. While they do use the russet potato, this is going to be a little different than one we get in the grocery store. It's a variety of the russet potato. It's specifically made because this is what they want to use and it gives them the end product they're looking for.
Utz Original.
These slices are really big.
It's definitely thicker than most chips that you will get in bags.
Not as good as a Snap, a little saltier. It melts in the mouth immediately.
It's actually a very well-balanced chip. The saltiness, the potato flavor is actually counterbalancing really well with each other. If I had to guess, I would say this is probably Utz chips.
UTZ? Utz?
Utz.
One of my favorite brands.
I love their little mascot. This little girl, I've always liked her. Something about her kind of just, it's like, eat me, eat me.
They are an umbrella company for so many other different brands of chips.
This is a lot of different oils at one time. You got your cottonseed, your corn, and your sunflower.
Whenever you're frying something at a high temperature, what you want is an oil that can withstand the temperature for a very long period of time without dipping or fluctuating, because that can interrupt the cook and the doneness of the chips.
At the end of the day, it's a consistent product and it tastes pretty great too.
Wise Original.
It didn't get that initial potato smell.
Smaller potato.
Probably slightly thinner as well.
Has a great crisp.
You have some folded bad boys here too.
That means either the starch wasn't rinsed off as thoroughly to where they kind of fold and they can stick to each other, or the cooking vessels they're using is having a little bit more crowded, so there's not as much room just to lay flat.
Great mouthfeel.
Grease level minimal. We like a Picasso.
Seeing that it's on the thinner side, I think that's why it's not as crispy, because they would have to fry it longer, which would make the chip a lot browner than it should be.
It's not as dense as the last chip.
Potato flavor, it's there, but it's not super prominent.
But it has this subtle sweetness that I really appreciate.
I'm guessing Wise.
Wise? Yay!
So I was right, it's Wise Original.
Classic brand of chips. I mean, if you're a 90s baby, then you know Wise.
I know that Wise particularly have a thinner chip than most companies on the market. You can tell that it's a Wise chip due to the curliness. As you can see right here, when it's too thin, it will fold onto itself.
This one, I'm already kind of over it. Not for me.
Pringles Original.
I think I know what these are just by look.
The shape is a dead giveaway.
It's way too uniform. The curl is extremely artificial. You can just see it.
It's crunchy, yes.
I taste salt. I'm not getting potato.
I remember.
Do it.
You have to do it, right? Everyone did like the duck bill.
This does look like a duck.
You know? I don't love the process of how these chips are made.
This chip has definitely been turned into kind of like a paste and put through an extruder, which shapes it into this particular shape, and then they cook it. It's actually not greasy at all.
Definitely Pringles. We're not gonna lie about this one.
I'm gonna have a can thrown at me in a second with a little man in it with a little bow tie. Let's see him. Come here, buddy.
I was right, it's Pringles.
With the mustache man.
Oh, not a bow tie. What is that effect called? The Mandela effect.
I don't know, are these actually classified as potato chips?
They call them potato crisps.
Crisps. Huh?
They're all the exact same shape, the exact same size, the exact same color. This is like an Orwellian kind of like nightmare a little bit.
You lose the identity of whatever product you're making when you put it through such a vigorous production as you would to make a Pringle.
You are gaining things like they stack well, they travel well, they have cute little cases you can put them in your lunchbox with.
I'd just rather a real potato that's been sliced, fried, and salted.
I hate these.
Kettle Sea Salt.
These are thick.
If I had to guess, I would say these are kettle cooked. Kettle cooked tend to have a harder, rigid surface.
This has a little more personality again. Fold it over here and the brownie on the side a little bit. Nice crunch.
Not too salty,
Not too big on the potato either.
slightly oily.
When I'm eating a kettle chip, the first thing that comes to mind is that this is stale because of just how hard and crispy it is. Kettle cooked chips are cooked in a very particular manner.
A kettle is like a large vat, typically made of copper. Copper can hold heat exceptionally well and for a longer period of time. When you're kettle cooking something, the temperature dips, rises, changes constantly. These are thicker chips. You want that thickness because it will be able to withstand the varying degrees of temperature.
I'm not too sure on brand, but I would 100% say that this is a kettle cooked chip.
Kettle, obviously, great. Our first kettle chip would be Kettle.
Kettle brand potato chips, sea salt.
The chips themselves, since they're cut thicker, will be heavier, but also when that oil temperature changes so much, the grease will cling on to the potatoes more than if it was just a standard frying the entire time.
It definitely results in a harder texture.
Cape Cod Original Sea Salt.
These are really cutesy.
Much smaller.
They're not too oily.
This is not a bad chip.
Potato flavor comes to the forefront.
Crunch is good on it.
Saltier than most kettle chips, which is amazing to me.
The oil is not overwhelming my palate.
You want your chip to be crunchy. You want it to have that nice loud crunch.
Is this a loud crunch? The answer is yes for me.
Like you want that type of audible, like ASMR, like moment.
Are these Cape Cod?
Cape Cod kettle chips.
The perfect kettle chip.
With sea salt, so you know it's fancy.
Crunchy, potatoey, perfectly salty, not too much oil.
Their oils are very, very pure in this one. Vegetable oil, canola, sunflower, safflower, soybean, and then sea salt. The oils themselves aren't going to come through and overpower this chip, which is why you're tasting the potato on it.
Very good.
They are made with the Kennebec potato, which is a russet variety.
They have a more pungent potato flavor. It comes through a lot better than your normal Idaho or Atlantic style spud.
My first kettle chip was Cape Cod, and it's what made me a believer in the first place.
I'm not saying I would go out and buy these, but they're in front of me, I would eat them.
Market Pantry Classic Potato Chips.
These have a lot of personality to them.
Has those air pockets.
Which will tell you that this was actually thinner and it puffed up during the frying process. Great crispiness.
It's pretty perfectly salted.
You're not getting a big potato punch when you bite into your chip.
It's a little bit greasier than the rest of them. I can feel the coating of the oil on my tongue.
I would say that this is definitely a store brand chip.
Maybe a Target.
Market Pantry Classic Potato Chip.
It is the Target brand.
Even though this is Target's budget brand, this is a decent chip.
I think with store brands, they always are looking for some type of value thing. So sometimes you can take cuts. In a place like Lay's, they have the ability to really have like gigantic spaces. They're fully invested. They make sure all the potatoes are the same, which gives you a more consistent product. This one, I would say like they're probably not as invested. And so you get to have a little bit more personality in the chips. There's like folds. They're using larger potatoes, so maybe they're getting a better deal. The oil tastes fine to me.
Corn is one of the most neutral flavored oils, and it has a high smoke point. It has great texture, it has great crisp, just not too salty, and it's underwhelming as far as potato flavor.
San Carlo Classic.
Different shapes. We got big ones, we got small ones, so a little variety, which sometimes that can affect the cooking.
Hi, guys.
They have a great crisp to them.
It dissolves pretty easily because of how thin they were sliced.
The potato flavor of this guy, I don't love.
Salt content is okay. It could be a little bit more for me.
Yeah, it's a very bland chip, actually.
But what I don't like is how they each eat differently. It's not a consistent bag of chips.
And you can kind of see too, got some real caramelization happening on the edges right here, a lot of browning. This is from like either overcooking, it could just be oxidation from the potato before they cooked it, or it could be the sugars that overcook and like leave a bitter taste.
I would say that this company is definitely using a different oil blend.
This is San Carlo.
Rome, an Italian brand potato chip.
It says Italy's #1 potato chip. Doesn't taste like a potato chip to me.
Using palm oil.
So palm oil is just another one of those very neutral oils that a lot of companies use. It's on the cheaper side, but one of the downsides of using palm oil is that it's not as stable as using a canola or vegetable oil.
Bonilla a la Vista, Patatas Fritas.
The air pockets in these are outstanding.
These are very like little delicate little butterflies.
Oil is light.
Even in color.
Great crisp. One of the best crisps we've had on chips so far.
Something almost tasted lemony to me for some reason. I don't know what that was.
Terrible tasting chip though.
Not as salty.
You don't get that much oil on your fingers, which is great.
Everything about it has this like airy, very like, quality to it that I kind of want a little bit more like, to my chips, I think.
This chip is highly flavored from whatever oil is being used to fry it. I want to say that it's olive oil.
When a potato chip is like a pure potato chip, the factors are so small between like the oil and the potato variety and the salt, any little tweak could change the flavor.
I don't think this is an American-made company.
Oh my God.
Oh my.
Like I'm going painting with this thing. What is this?
Bonilla a la Vista.
Our main ingredient is enthusiasm. Maybe that's what I was tasting.
Sliced potatoes, olive oil, salt. That is it.
Unfortunately, all you get is olive oil when you eat these.
Maybe that's what that lemony flavor I was tasting is, like that fruitiness from like an olive oil will give you that.
So this brand uses Galicia potatoes,
which is a Spanish potato. That is going to impart a lot of differences from what we're used to.
And that's a very rural potato that's not used commercially around the world.
This is obviously a fancier potato chip with the olive oil and like, look at this packaging and like, it's like trying to portray this elegance to this potato chip for sure.
The high price point is probably due to the fact that they're using a locally produced potato, and also they're using olive oil. I mean, that's a very expensive oil.
Lay's Kettle Cooked Original.
These look at first glance like another batch of kettle chips.
Extremely crispy.
The other ones were cooked a little bit harder.
I think this kettle chip is a little lighter in flavor overall.
Thinner than your normal kettle chip.
This one tastes a little bit more potato forward overall. I think the balance of salt is a little bit better in this option.
These are not as oily as the others.
Lay's Kettle Cooked.
They're the potato chip giant, so it makes sense that they're making kettle cooked chips.
Why not tap into every market so that you can be relevant in every market?
One of the things I hate about kettle chips is their thickness. So the fact that Lay's took that into mind and made a thinner kettle chip, I think they're doing right. I think they broadened their audience by doing that.
They're good, not gonna lie. But I do prefer the classic Lay's chip, for sure.
Not as bad. I mean, I'll have more than one.
So what you're saying is you love kettle chips?
No.
Vandy, classic potato chips.
These are obviously a little darker than the other ones we've had so far.
I like the caramelization look of them though.
Caramelization is whenever heat activates in sugars, so the sugar granules themselves become brown, is the browning of sugars, which creates a sweeter flavor, but if you go too long, it becomes very burnt and not delicious.
This is a very thick cut chip, so just by the feel, that's like super crispy.
I do not like these.
This one has a little fattier content to it, I think.
This has such an astringent flavor.
Kind of like a roasty, smoky taste.
It almost tastes like a weird, like old fried chicken.
Breaks down very easily in your mouth.
Don't really taste potato flavor with this one. So far, this is definitely my least favorite potato chip.
I definitely think that this chip is probably on the higher end of chips.
Does KFC make potato chips?
Vandy.
More on the fancier side.
There's even a little butler on the back.
Cornelius Vanderbilt accidentally invented the potato chip. Lies.
So this is fried in beef tallow.
That's the flavor I'm getting.
Beef tallow is pretty much just, rendered beef fat.
This is what we're talking about, like when you have those three factors only, potato, fat, and salt. If you move one of those levers in a weird way, it kind of overtakes everything.
Beef tallow will change the flavor of your chip because you're imparting actual animal fat.
You have some fat that's like really good for you, like as close to the muscle, like on a ribeye, you want that fat on it. But all the excess fat, you're gonna trim off, and it kind of has like this kind of like cloudy, like ripply to it. You grind that up, melt it down.
And that's like really sought after because that fat does also have a high smoke point.
The fried chicken I was tasting is because of this beef tallow.
I'm gonna guess that this company is not producing any beef products of any kind, so that means they're bringing in the beef tallow. So that makes it kind of a little more on the pricier side of things.
You can also just see like how greasy this is in general. Oil is getting all over the bag at this point. So their beautiful packaging is now covered up in my little fingy grease and beef tallow. Look, it's like almost like a little Jack and Rose in the Titanic moment of like the hand on the thing is kind of happening on this bag right now. This bag, like the heart of the ocean, can sink to the bottom of the Atlantic. Not for me.
Torres Selecta Mediterranean Salt.
These chips are like beautifully golden.
Seems to be very small potatoes being used at this company just because.
Pretty much see through this chip.
Definitely like a little higher on the grease content for sure. Definitely can feel it.
It's actually crispier than expected.
It chew, it melts, it evaporates, which is nice.
You definitely get that potato flavor in there.
The more I eat it, like the more I can feel the oil coating my tongue.
If I had to guess, I would say maybe sunflower is being used in this.
Torres!
Another European chip.
Mediterranean sea salt premium potato chips.
Is this also a Spanish potato?
It's from Barcelona, Spain.
The same other Spanish potato we had earlier. Potato almost tasted different.
Ingredients, potatoes, sunflower oil, salt.
I was 1000% correct. It's using solely sunflower oil.
You kind of get that nutty, buttery kind of flavor profile.
This particular brand is using Mediterranean sea salt, which has a more pungent flavor to it.
So it's like tapping into its terroir. While we're getting these potatoes here, we're using the sunflower oil, we're actually using the salt from the Mediterranean. It's kind of like an all-encompassing chip.
Lay's Baked Original.
We are now in the bake zone. These are baked potato chips.
This is not a real potato. I could just tell by the way it looks.
Pringle-esque.
A very uniform shape amongst all the chips.
They just kind of look how they're gonna taste, which is gonna be healthier, but also like kind of cardboardy.
Not crispy at all. Virtually no oil coming off of this.
The baking process is you're gonna leave it with a more of a dry mouthfeel.
That is sweet. That's not what I look forward to when I'm eating a chip.
It turns into like dust almost a second it goes into mouth.
Crunchy, yes, but dissolves extremely fast.
Not a lot of potato flavor.
I don't think these were fried. There's like an absence of oil.
With a fry, you're gonna fully submerge your potatoes into oil at a hot temperature. This is a pure dry cooking method, baking. It just has radiant heat that hits it, usually in convection, which means airflow is also added to the process.
Is this the Lay's baked chips?
I would say this is Lay's baked.
Is this the Lay's baked?
I was right! Lay's baked chips.
100% crispy goodness.
The great benefit from baked chips is that you get less fat.
This one is like health conscious and worries about you, but is not gonna be fun at parties.
I personally would just eat a regular bag of chips, but just in lesser quantities.
It's a no for me, dog.
Zapp's Regular.
Surprise, surprise. More kettle cooked chips.
So many different shapes of chips here.
Definitely on the thinner side for kettle cooked chips.
These are tasty.
Super crunch on these guys for sure.
I'm actually surprised at how much flavor it has. Very natural flavor too.
I'm tasting a lot of potato.
Perfectly salted for my taste buds. I love these.
Definitely not over oily.
I definitely would say that they're using a different oil to fry these.
I think this is gonna be some sort of like vegetable or seed oil.
Delicious and buttery.
Oh my God. I'm embarrassed. On behalf of all of my family back in New Orleans, I'm so sorry. I should have done this one right away.
Zapp's. I know these guys.
A little crawfish baby up here, holding this little potato chip. Fleur-de-lis all over it.
Oh, peanut oil.
Utz ended up buying the Zapp's potato chip.
How many chip brands do you guys need, Utz?
This is, for me, like my benchmark on a good kettle chip.
Kitchen Cooked Classic.
These look strange to me. I don't know what it is.
Not too oily, which is always a good thing.
It kind of has like this dull crunch to it, which I'm not a fan of.
So these like melt nicely, very salty.
I feel like the potato flavor kind of gets lost in the kettle cooking process.
These feel a little bit more, I don't want to say lower quality, but I just did.
Classic potato chips, kitchen cooked.
Never heard of this brand.
They got absorbed into the Utz company.
Should I start my own chip brand for Utz to pick me up too?
So with cotton, palm, peanut, a lot of oil flavoring is kind of overtaking things over here.
It's a hard no for me on these.
I'm not like angry at this guy. Anytime there's a little mascot on it, I'm not gonna be mad at it. And they got a little cute little kettle who's like feeding himself potatoes. I think we're all this little potato kettle at some point in our lives.
Terra Blues with sea salt.
They're so different.
So these are definitely purple potatoes.
Sweet potato varietal.
A chip like this using a sweet potato or another type of tuber kind of makes you feel like you're doing something fancier.
Virtually no oil is coming off on my finger, which is great.
The sweetness for me gets a little bit overwhelming and overpowering.
It's not as earthy as a russet potato would be.
This is a super bland chip, extremely underseasoned.
I forget the name of the brand.
I could see the bag right now.
They come in the black bag.
Terra vegetable chips, blue potato.
Real vegetable chips with sea salt. I barely taste any salt on these chips whatsoever.
The color kind of throws me off.
When you see a purple blue potato, you automatically think it's gonna be sweet.
I would not be mad if someone handed these to me, but would not be my first pick.
Miss Vickie's Sea Salt potato chips.
Back to regularly scheduled programming.
These at first glance look to be Kettle.
I've never smelled a chip that smelled burned before.
Whoa, powerful crunch.
I can almost like not really taste potato in these because it's so salty.
Slightly oily, nothing too bad. I can't use it as lip gloss, so that's a great sign.
Not a fan.
These might be the saltiest ones I've had so far.
I do need some water though.
Sometimes I feel like companies would use over-salting their product to kind of hide the fact that it's not a very high quality product that they're using.
What you trying to hide?
Miss Vickie's Sea Salt Original.
We could ease up on the salt, please.
These have this like nice golden color throughout them.
Higher temperatures in the oil and the longer time the chip is in there can lead to more browning in color.
I usually love Miss Vickie's. This is so sad for me.
Hal's New York Kettle Chips Original Sea Salt.
Seems like a standard crispy chip.
Larger in size,
Almost as big as my head.
very strong crunch.
Of all the chips I've had, this one has the most flavor.
This one kind of reminds me of that Lay's kettle we had earlier.
Salt is pretty balanced as far as with the chip. Not too big on the potato flavor.
Not getting a lot of residue on me, so like oil-wise, it's not bad.
Hal's from New York, baby.
You see these in just about every bodega in the city.
Hal's is like no frills, no hiding, no excess anything. It's just pretty straightforward, but like done well. I respect Hal's.
Good and Gather Kettle Cooked.
I know these are Kettle.
Nice snap for sure.
These are a lot more golden.
So either sugar content or frying time or temperature on this guy.
Not too greasy.
The crispiness is nice.
Another salty one.
Potato flavor is there. It's not as pungent as I would like it to be.
Weird aftertaste.
This is a store brand.
Good and Gathered.
Target brand again.
Kettle cooked sea salt potato chips.
Good and Gatherers are a little bit more elevated.
Very similar to the Lay's potato kettle chips. I find that when they're on a thinner side, I tend to enjoy them more.
This is, standard, affordable, decent chip.
Wegman's Kettle Cooked.
Definitely crispy. You get a good break when you're breaking it.
It's natural type of cut. You can see some skin on it.
It's not too oily.
Good snap, decent crunch.
This is one of the first kettle chips that I've had where you can taste that it's actually a potato that you're eating.
Could use a scotch more salt.
Mouth-wise, like I'm not getting a lot of like oil slick action happening by any means.
I'm gonna go with avocado oil perhaps in this. I feel like this could be an off-brand. Weggies, AKA Wegmans.
This bag is a lot of fun. It's tie-dye, which is a vibe.
And it's made with avocado oil. The special things about avocado oil is one, it has a high smoke point. It could take higher temperatures better than a lot of other oils, less saturated fat, stuff like that. And the taste is virtually non-existent. So you can use it in a lot of different applications without having to worry about the flavor of the actual oil in the dish.
It's a good backup dancer, as it were, for the oils.
Siete Sea Salt.
Natural cut on these guys, having the skin on.
Texture feels really nice. It breaks really well.
I love a crunchy chip.
I'm not getting any potato.
But it's kind of clean.
Very lightly salted, not a lot of flavor.
Siete.
Sea salt potato chips made with avocado oil.
It's not giving me that buttery richness that the other avocado oil kettle chip did.
Kettle Sea Salt with pink peppercorn.
What are these speckles on here?
They're seasoned with something other than salt.
I might have potato hallucinations at this point, but I'm seeing little tiny things going on.
Very hard textures. It breaks clean though, which makes me know that it was an even cook.
That's what we like to call flavor.
Wow, what a palate cleanser.
That is not just sea salt.
It's like oniony.
There's like definitely some type of pepper action happening.
It's definitely kettle cooked,
It's not too oily. Salt, almost perfect.
but the flavor, I'm not mad at.
That's the moneymaker right there.
There's a bit of umami flavor to it, oniony, garlicky, if they don't feel greasy. Crunch is nice.
The Kettle brand. Made with avocado oil, sea salt, and a hint of pink peppercorn.
So pink peppercorn, but also the garlic powder, onion powder, yeast extract, what kind of gives that umami flavor.
But it doesn't taste peppery at all.
I think the pink peppercorn part of this is more of a marketing ploy than anything else.
For me, this seasoning is so subtle, it doesn't constitute like a flavored chip like if you were to have like barbecue where it just like really smacks you across the face. It's like these small little speckles. Whereas like if it's a flavored chip, you'd see the whole coating on one side where you could barely see the potato itself.
When you have an aisle that's full of bags, you gotta do everything you can to make people wanna grab your bag over everybody else.
Big fan.
Trader Joe's Dark Russet.
You burnt them.
Y'all handed me burnt potato chip.
They smell burned.
They almost smell like mapley, which tells me that there is a high sugar content in this.
They definitely fried this.
But I hope that it doesn't have that weird burnt taste to it. Oh my God.
That tastes burnt.
Sorry.
Is there a brand purposely overcooking chips?
Okay. Ugh.
So this is what happens when you cook potato chips too long and the sugar begins to get burnt and not caramelized.
I'm gonna say it was on purpose, but yeah, I'm not a fan of these.
I don't know if I had just one really bad chip. So hold on, before I say what I'm about to say, let me just eat one more.
What's crazy is that it's getting worse as the time goes by.
No, this is the worst chip I've had so far today. Burn it in a fire. I don't know if you can burn it more.
Do people eat these?
It's a no.
I'm so sorry to whatever company this is.
Trader Joe's is gonna be my guess.
Dark Russet, Trader Joe's.
So I was right, they are Trader Joe's.
Trader Joseph, what are you doing?
Are they calling it Dark Russet because they cook it till it's really dark?
I'm gonna have therapy after this bag.
Cooked longer.
This must be one of those trendy things. Maybe I'm not hip. Bet, fam. You know, chat, smash it down in the comments below what y'all think about Dark Russet chips.
What happens when you burn sugar? It becomes bitter, right? And that's what you get in these chips.
Thank you, but no thank you.
Utz Dark Russets.
This looks like another dark russet variety.
No, thank you.
Not as dark as the previous entry, but still on the way darker side than a chip should be.
So this is what Trader Joe's Dark Russets want to taste like.
Nice caramelization, that's good. Salt was nice, good snap.
This gives like the bottom of the bag French fries, where it's like delicious, crunchy, you can still taste the potato, fantastic.
This is okay. This is still a good level. It's there without being crazy overdone.
That's my guys. It's Utz.
Dark Russet.
Utz is one of the giants, you know. If they're gonna do something, they're gonna make sure and do it right.
So this is the one from Utz, and this is the one from Trader Joe's. To me, this was really, really too dark. You can see just by like the time you're cooking, like how much sugar begins to caramelize and how much that can change the flavor of it.
There's a little sweet at the front, a little bitter at the end. I like it.
I mean, there is a fine little tap dance between being burnt and charred.
It's literally a 5 to 10 degree difference.
Graza extra virgin olive oil.
Very, very thin, very, very brittle.
Very crispy, I like it.
So light, so airy. You're getting potato.
This is my preferred level of salt on a chip.
Definitely more oil forward than the last two I've had.
Different oils can impart different colors. This is probably one of the prettier chips I've seen today.
Is this olive oil?
The name of the chip is called Graza.
It's a huge, like very trendy olive oil right now.
That I personally use in my kitchen.
So this is an extra virgin olive oil potato chip.
I mean, they're right. Extra crispy, it sure is.
Product of Spain.
Oh, it's slow fried.
So the approach with this company might be very similar to cooking kettle chips, small batches. Only difference that varies is that they're doing theirs low and slow versus kettle chips where they're doing it kind of like high and fast.
So when you slow fry something, you're allowing the oil to pretty much seep into that ingredient. No, it's not oily in texture, but when you eat it, it definitely comes forward more.
These are those Galician potatoes, which is that same Spanish variety of potato. So it's gonna have that same terroir of potato from Spain and the slightly different variety from our russets.
Would recommend, and I would definitely try again.
Snyder's of Berlin original.
Very run-of-the-mill looking chip.
It's a very light chip.
Different size, got some folds on them, so they're not like perfectly made, which is nice, you know?
Definitely back to regular plain chips.
It's like lightly crispy, where you're not getting the loud crunches.
Not very salty, not much residue coming off on my fingers.
You can taste the potato.
It has like a weird aftertaste. Maybe store brand, regular plain potato chips.
Dankeschön.
Snyder of Berlin.
Of Berlin, PA. Oh, Pennsylvania, interesting.
Yet another brand that's been absorbed by big potato chip Utz. So they're using a blend of cottonseed, corn, canola, sunflower, and safflower. It could be the mix of the sunflower and safflower that's giving it a little bit of a bitter taste to it.
Unfortunately, a slightly forgettable potato chip. I don't know if I would even remember having this one.
Whole Foods Organic Sea Salt.
The color tone on these are perfectly golden.
Great snap.
Wow, look at that one. Like a little Pac-Man action happened. Oh, waka, 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 woo, woo, woo.
Not too greasy. It has a great crunch.
The potato flavor is like kind of muted,
It's there, but it's not there.
but I also wouldn't say like it's like overly salty either.
Aftertaste, this isn't for me a crushable chip. Sorry, not sorry. 365 Whole Foods.
Organic sea salt potato chips.
You guys can do better than this.
It's a very Whole Foodsy thing to do with saying like organic and sea salt.
A lot of people, they see organic and they automatically pick it up because of that.
But is it really good for you? Debatable.
Herr's Crisp and Tasty.
Your standard frying potato right here.
It's a thin chip.
Not too oily.
Decent crunch.
Not very big on the potato flavor.
Salt is there. Could be balanced a little bit more.
It's not hitting any flavor notes.
Ah, Hers.
So I'm actually surprised this is Hers.
A lot of chips made in PA.
Crisp and tasty.
It's crisp, but it ain't tasty.
I feel like Hers was better than this when I was a kid.
Another one of those like Lay's-esque potato chips, what they're trying to do here.
I feel like this chip just falls flat on a lot of different criteria.
Great value, salted original.
Not as golden as I would like, but still pretty.
Very plain chip.
Instead of having a clean snap, it's like crumbles into your hands.
The salt is there though. They salt it nicely.
I'm not getting a lot of like potato flavors when I eat this.
It's a little oily.
There's nothing standing out for this. It's just a regular chip.
I'm stumped here because it tastes familiar.
I think this is a great value.
Walmart?
Here we are.
Great value in Walmart indeed.
Classic chips, you have so much leeway with them. Like, they don't have to be astounding. They don't have to stand out.
If you have a lower quality ingredient, sometimes you will like raise the volume on something else to kind of quiet and hide the poor quality ingredient. So either by overcooking and making it darker flavors or over salting.
Those are all practices used by potato chip companies in order to fix certain things that they might find that's lacking in certain departments.
Trader Joe's Ode to the Classic.
Very fun in different shapes, strong variety over here.
A little bit light on the fry. It's not as golden. That was a weak crunch.
I can taste potato.
Good salt, but it's definitely flavored by whatever oil it was fried in.
It's another unintentional chip.
I'm gonna go with a store brand.
Is this Trader Joe's version? Just not burnt?
Trader Joe's.
I don't know, man.
Every Trader Joe's chip I've had so far has just not been to my liking.
Ode to the classic potato chip.
So I think there's something to be said about staying the course of being in the middle, where you're not too salty, or you're not too sweet, or you're not too bitter.
They're not revolutionizing the potato chip game, but yeah, this is down the road, classic, reliable. I'm not gonna take it to prom, but you know, like it's solid, yeah. Good for you, Trader Joseph.
Now let's see which potato chips our experts liked the most and the least.
Tasted a lot of chips today. I think overall, my favorites had to stand by. You know, you can't beat your classic Lay's potato chip. It is like the gold standard of potatoes.
Obviously, Lay's is always gonna be one of my favorites just for nostalgia purposes.
Perfectly crisp, but has the density. Salt content is perfectly balanced. Not too greasy, but keeps you coming back for more. It's just a solid chip.
They did a great job with their kettle chip too, honestly. Like I was surprised. I never had it. I'm a kettle chip guy, and like I really, really appreciated that one.
Cape Cod is the classic kettle chip as well. Salt content's there, crispiness is there.
Another one of my favorites was the Kettle brand pink peppercorn.
Flavor on top of flavor, without really taking away from the chip itself. And for me, that's powerful, and it says a lot about the product that they pushed out there.
So the ones that I didn't like the most was definitely the Trader Joe's version of the dark russet potato chips.
Just way too dark. Couldn't taste the potato flavor at all.
Get them out of here.
I don't like overproduced things, and Pringles is definitely in that category. category of being overproduced.
Pringles aren't even a chip. It's just a hodgepodge of different ingredients molded together.
Kind of tastes like, you know, potato powder in a can.
Walking down an aisle of chips can be a little daunting and overwhelming, but 3 factors. That's all you really, truly need.
You have your potatoes, you have your frying oil, and your salt.
They are one of those snacks that goes with every occasion, no matter what it is.
Pick what works for you. For me, I would get like a pure, honest potato chip. There's nothing wrong with the classic Lay's. If you're looking for something more health conscious, they have that. But be aware and be careful of the gimmicky things they're trying to get you with. Honest, clean potatoes at the end is really what you're looking for.